It's preparing. Yes, finally. All right, technology. We got you today. We are live streaming now here at the Red or Green Books Facebook page. I'm so excited to be bringing you the author talk for November 2024, featuring Poetry is a Love Language. But first, let me tell you something written by the one and only the poet RoseGold. It is a beautiful book. We have pushcart nominations, and I will be announcing that her book will be selected for at least one pushcart nomination will come out of this book this year. Very exciting things, super, super fun. You got to get her book. Don't forget, each month we do, it's volunteer based for author talk for RGB authors each month. And there's a $5 coupon. In the month of November, you can grab her book. Just when you go to the website and you check out for this book, use coupon code language and it'll get you $5 off your order. You can do that by going to redorgreenbooks.com, red READ, and all of the proceeds in the month go to the author. So let's get some of these books sold. Let's get going. The month is almost over, so don't delay and just go get your copy of this book. It's a wonderful way to collect books throughout the year without having to pay full price, and it does help the authors with the sales of their book, and they will send you a signed copy and it'll be wonderful. So please, please, please don't hesitate to get a copy of this book. A couple of quick announcements as we get started. American Graveyard Volume 2, we have the call for submissions are out. We had American Graveyard Volume 1. Volume 2 is on the horizon. So if you would like, you're welcome to submit 3 original works, unpublished, any literary format that you would like. However, longer submissions may be cut. So just keep that in mind. You can also submit up to 3 black and white pieces of artwork, printed artwork, 300 DPI or larger. Again, original work, all unpublished. And you can send that in an email to americangraveyardpurpose@gmail.com. And that will help us be able to continue going forward with the calls to end gun violence. I will tell you, the people who've submitted already, it is off the chain. So you want to be part of that movement as we continue our collective universal calls for an end to gun violence. That being said, we did launch the American Graveyard Podcast Live this year. It is the first Saturday of every month at 12 p.m. Eastern. This December. So this next one will be in December, the first Saturday of December. We're going to be talking about surviving the holidays, gun violence and suicide, and how the holidays affect that. So please tune in for that. If you would like to be a host, a guest, a feature, a special, someone who brings some sort of special experience to the table, we would love to include you in that. Feel free to email us or reach out to us on the website. And then December's book club is our one and only Diosa X and her sensational full color parody book, which Felices Fiestas is a wonderful, wonderful, humorous holiday book, perfect for December. All right, so those are some of the things that we have coming up. We got Poet RoseGold today. The format for our author talks, it's not a live, like a it's not a town hall necessarily, and it's not an open mic. It's a little bit of a dialogue and learning a bit about Poet RoseGold, about her book, what you can expect in it, her journey to writing this incredible book. And then she's going to have a full 30-minute, up to 30-minute feature set. You don't have to take the whole time, Poet RoseGold, if you don't want to. And if you go over a little, that's okay too. We're not going to be real constrictive with the time. But that'll give you an opportunity to really hear a great deal from this author. It does not have to include work. All of it does not have to come from the book, so it can be really whatever you want. And then we'll wrap up by doing a Q&A session. So if you want to ask Poet RoseGold a question, you're welcome to type a question in the chat. I always tell my authors they do not have to answer any of the questions. Just because someone asks you a question does not mean that the authors are obligated to answer them. So please understand she may decline to answer your question, but hopefully, you know, the engagement that we have throughout this hour will give you a really wonderful insight into who she is and what the book is all about. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So welcome, Poet RoseGold. Why don't you tell us first and foremost a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your journey through poetry, your journey to this book right here, what folks can expect when they pick the book up and read it, all of that wonderful stuff, and I will spotlight you.
Okay. Not sure I want to be spotlighted today, but okay, but too late. So I'm originally born and raised in the Bronx, New York. I traveled around a lot via Uncle Sam. I spent 20 years in the military. I retired in 2015, and about a month and a half later, I moved to Colorado Springs, Colorado, where I still am now. And what got me into poetry was sometime during high school. I was introduced not through school, but through other platforms to writers like Langston Hughes and of course Dr. Maya Angelou and other artists. And I just thought poetry was just a beautiful language, a beautiful way of talking and communicating. And I just, tried my hand at writing poetry, and it just seemed kind of natural to me to just write that way instead of just writing regular per se. And I used to like write in classmates Christmas cards, like a very short piece and things like that, which kind of caught people's attention, but I didn't think anything of it. I never pursued it as an art form. I never pursued it just really for any reason. I thought I was going to be a fiction writer, to be honest with you. And fast forward to 2014, I was in Alaska, getting ready to about a year out from retirement. And, the man upstairs told me, you need to go back to one of your original loves, which is not fiction writing, it's poetry. And also come to find out, well, I'll talk about this a little bit later, but I did realize very recently that even poetry is not my first love. It's actually music, but I'll get to that later. And I decided to start writing again, just bits and pieces here and there, but I didn't really get into the spoken word community until sometime in 2017, when an artist here, she introduced me to actually, it was Dr. Bakari and Phil Midnight who told me that there was a poetry scene, there was a spoken word scene here in Colorado Springs, which initially I didn't believe. But the only reason I did is because I'd heard them spit. And I said, okay. And when I went to my first open mic, I was basically hooked. So, and I've been writing exclusively ever since, poetry. So that's, as far as like where this book came from, it was always my intention to write a book. Again, originally I thought I was going to be a fiction writer, but as far as poetry, um, it it was kind of it was an irritating process because I was looking for a publisher and the people I worked with weren't, very versed in publishing. And then when I thought I found a publisher, that fell through because there was too much in the background going on for them to really be focused on what they thought they were going to be doing. So, and as you know, this came about, this relationship, and then going through the process with Red or Green Books, which I'm eternally grateful for, you and Rebecca, for the amazing cover. Still, I'm still swooning over that. So thank you to you both. I wanted something in writing, something put together that could be part of my legacy that people could put their hands on. Because for the past few years, people have been bugging me, where's your book? Where's your book? And then when it finally came, I'm not going to bust people out, but when it finally came out, the people who were bugging me about it still haven't bought it, but I'm not going to go there. So I guess they thought a book was never going to happen, but I'm already in the process of writing, my second book. And whenever that comes out and how, where, I don't know, but the pen is still flowing, especially after this election.
Yeah, I definitely I love that because having published so many books so far, I know the road a lot. I know farther down the road than someone who's coming in for the first time, and it's very difficult for me to tell them everything's going to be okay and that you're not alone and what you're feeling's normal, because everyone feels, I would like to say that 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10 of the authors that we published have always felt a little bit of that apprehension. Like, you want to have the legacy work. We say the undercurrent of what we're doing is legacy work and community building, but to have your biggest cheerleaders then not to support is very common. We find that just it happens. It's really disheartening and confusing for a lot of the authors, which is why building as a community is so important, so that even if they don't support, we're supporting, and we can broaden that support together. So that's very common, I find, as a publisher. And I'm very glad, like, I'm so sad it never worked out for you before, but I'm really glad that it steered you here, because I firmly believe that we are surrounding ourselves with the right people and doing the right things for the right reasons here. And certainly your legacy is now emblazoned in this press and forever will be part of this mission. And as we move forward into the nonprofit sector, veterans and our military is going to be a huge portion of our future projects. And so I'm very excited for not just you being part of this, but also other military poets who are either active duty or retired, being part of building those programs. So I'm so grateful that God brought you to this press, and then it just all worked out. It was very lucky, I think, um, when we get to have stories like yours, and your book is no small feat at all. It is an incredible story. So I'm just really honored to have watched it come to life. And Rebecca Dreskin, right? She did the cover, and it's just so gorgeous, like you said, right? And she lives here in Albuquerque, and Blame It on Rebecca is her band, right? You say your first love is music. Well, she is, the queen musician of her all queer, all women band, and so it's, you two are very kindred spirits in that way. And I'm so glad that you connected on your cover. I can't wait for you to meet in person, and like really, next time you're down here, until midnight, he's got his butt down here to New Mexico next time. It's not that far for him. But definitely, I'm glad that they got you into this. Another thing too is, one of the things I hear often from the poets that we've published is, I haven't been doing this for like 20 years. A lot of times people think that in order to be published, and oftentimes perhaps with different presses, you need to have all kinds of accolades. You need to have all kinds of experience. You have to have an MFA. You have to know, the Robert Frost poems from scratch. And it's just, I really don't feel like that is a very good representation of what poetry is, what being a griot is, right? What being on the front lines of revolution is. And so, the fact that you are you and you haven't been doing it for 20 years opens so many doors for other people who say, wow, I haven't been doing it for that long either, but if poet RoseGold can do it, maybe I can do it. So the trailblazing of going into something like spoken word or poetry and then having a book, is breaking boundaries and breaking that glass ceiling for so many. What can people expect? Kind of take us through your book a little bit about the concept behind the book, how you assorted and collected and put together the book, and then what people can expect when they pick it up and reading through it. I mean, you don't have to give everything away, right? Because you guys got to read the book, but just kind of let them know what they're going to be in for when they pick it up and read it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not going to give it all away, but I think everybody on here has read it, so and bought it. So, um, first of all, I write from a vantage point of, we as a collective, we're not a monolith, so we encompass all different types of, just we're multifaceted. There's so many pieces of us. Like um one of my Caucasian friends, I hate that word, Caucasian, one of my non-melanated friends who used to work with us, who used to work with me, she always says, so many layers, you have so many layers. Yeah, I do. And my writing has to encompass that. So well, first off, the way the poems are listed, and this, being the publisher, the way they're listed in the book, they go from year 2001 all the way to 2022. And it opens with an homage poem to my dad that I wrote 3 weeks after he passed away, and it talks about what women have experienced, women's experience, mental health, depression, spirituality, Black love, self-love, toxic relationships, which I don't want to talk. That one poem, Naysadi Malis, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. That's actually on the Bronx coat of arms. Yes, every borough has a coat of arms, and a borough president for that matter. And it's in the Bronx flag says Naysadi Malis, do not yield to evil or yield not to evil. But I don't want to focus on. I didn't want to focus on that too much because I don't want to bring those spirits back up. Um, you're right about it. It's a cathartic way of just turning it loose and letting it go and just leaving it there, leaving it in your rear view mirror. Um, so that's what I want people to expect. I know I'm mostly known for my social justice poetry. I know that, but there's more to me than that. Like my friend says, so many layers, so many layers. So that there is a kinder, gentler side, and there might be a little bit more of that expressed in my next book. But I just wanted to get that out and just really show people that there are other facets of me than what you see, because my audio doesn't always match my video. Like when people, there have been a couple of people when they met me for the first time, they were like, I imagined you being like 6 feet tall or something like that. They didn't, Sandy Shakes described me as astonishingly petite. So I think people, so what they hear me project, and the way I project, and the way that the presence, and then they see me in person, like, where's the rest of you? So because they painted this big picture in their heads, which I appreciate, and I understand where they're coming from, but it's but yeah, just for people to show, just to show people that, it's not always what you see on the surface. There's a lot more to it than that.
That's very true. And I think that the best way for you to get to know Poet Rose Gold is to buy her book. So go to the website, buy the book, use the coupon code language so that she can sign it and send it to you. I still have my little card in the book. But yes, please support the authors, support the artists, and get her book. Without further ado, I will turn it over to you, Poet Rose Gold. And you're welcome to take as much time or as little time as you would like today. If you would like to know how much more time you have left, I'm happy to do that as well for you. And I do spotlight just because it'll pop up on the live stream and people will be able to see you instead
Oh
of
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah. I don't want them to tune in and be like, "Where is she? I can't see her." So yeah,
yeah.
just totally. Yeah.
Okay, so I will go ahead and do that and turn it over to you and take it away.
Okay, perfect. That plus, so they could also see Betty. Okay. Don't mind me. I'm a little bit physically drained right now, but the show must go on, right? So you have the right to spit fire. Anything you say can and will be used to burn blasphemies to the ground. You have the right to live a life free from generational curses. If you cannot afford these yokes and burdens, feel free to leave them at the foot of the microphone. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I hope she finds out about this poem one day and she reads it, and I hope she doesn't get mad that I used her lines. But what color is your noise? That's the one where I start off with that lyric from MC Light's 10% disc. But I don't. So she's the goat. She is the goat. I'm sorry. In the immortal words of the goat, MC Light, hot damn ho, here we go again. Back to the lab with pad and pen, armed to the teeth with fodder from the very latest in American foibles. I have to admit, sometimes I wish this rogue nation wouldn't supply us with all this ammunition because, you see, I'd love to waste time writing about kittens and puppies and fluffy clouds, but it's easier to craft lyrics of disdain about the things that hate me, like America and her prodigal sons and daughters of the faux revolution, mercilessly lampooned on the lines of this page. But at the end of the day, will it truly bring change? I say again, will it, really and truly? Mr. Cook, you told us a change was going to come. It's been 57 years since you blessed us with those words, Mr. Cook. You promised us. See, change didn't arrive with Obama. It missed the connecting flight to hope. I can be quoted as saying the pen is a weapon. Perhaps if I were to jab it into my opponent's jugular or poison their drink with my ink, I'm not the 60s hippies planting carnations in the muzzles of military police rifles. So sorry, Father, but that's not how this flower wants to exercise her power. I don't want to continue being a part of this predictable plot twist where they shoot, we die, we rage, they lie, they no charge, we cry, we hashtag, we wave BLM flag, we get bitter, we black Twitter. Then they get to return to their regularly scheduled racism. Therefore, I assume my fighter stance and keep my ear to the streets in anticipation of the next failed insurrection, which I guess won't happen because they won. Forget prayer posture. There's nooses swinging in the breeze, and the Wu-Tang Clan told me to protect my neck. Cooter and them still mad that Reconstruction was not our destruction, but so not sorry, you cannot deconstruct melanin. How can they still find our radiance so abhorrent? Why, Roy Ayers said, everybody loves the sunshine. Yes, I do wish that one day they'll grow tired of being the foil for my art. But there they go again with that smack, that so much stank, that trash talk, that diarrhea of the mouth. One has to wonder why they sit on their asses and not their faces. Wrathful because we aim to curb their blonde ambitions, intent on eclipsing our rays of light with their rancor. Fragile and atrophied because they never exercised that muscle called accountability, and still won't. But spring is coming. So what are you going to do, you scribe, Pied Piper, griot, foghorn, poet? What color is your noise? It is separation season. Eventually, you will have to vacate the safety and security of these Hollywood squares because the real challenge is not just out in them streets. They're in your schools, your jobs, your churches even. When the hour is upon you, will you unleash the beast or stay muzzled? A Rottweiler's jaws wield 328 pounds per square inch of pressure, so there's no question as to why it shows no fear. So likewise, there will have to come a time when your bite has to be worse than your bark, or when your words will leap off the papyrus and form flesh around dry bones, joining together in battle, in living color, parting the seas of hate, and leading the true-hearted onward to the promised land. Poem. This one, but not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. Okay, this one. The doctor is in, it whispered. What is it you have to tell me? And you don't have to come at me with all of your satiny, sophisticated diction, picture perfect poise, or glammed up, glittering generalities. Give me your grit, your grime, those elements that gutted you like a Halloween pumpkin and left you hollow. I want all the mud that they slung that caked up your gaping wounds. Come flat-footed and unbalanced, unready, unsteady, unsure. Tell me of that sick, silly savage that slayed your sense of solace and tried to steal away with your sanity. I want it all. Tell me how the word bitch locked lips and French kissed you, relentlessly teasing and tormenting until you finally allowed them to roll off your tongue with an ear-splitting voice equal to 100 thunderclaps, as its target folded in and fell in on itself like the Twin Towers. This is not the place to play dress up. Put all that glam back in the closet and save it for the after party. I am here for the naked and uncensored, unrighteousness in the raw, for the shackled yearning to breathe free. And with a check 1-2, leave your yoke at the altar of redemption. Poem. Reason I wrote that is because I've been, up to this point, I've been to enough open mics to where you have a newbie come along and say, oh, well, you know, I wasn't going to sign up for the open mic but I heard everybody else talking, or, you know, I haven't been doing this very long. I'm not really a poet. And then they come and they blow us away. So our poet laureate Ashley likes to refer to it as they played us, which they did. And, you know, it's interesting what people will tell what they will confess to total strangers. what they won't tell their own mama, their spouse, their best friend, their favorite cousin, their sibling, but they'll tell a room full of total strangers the things that, all the things that have done things to them. So, and that's why a part of my Miranda warning, I say leave it at the foot of the microphone. But anyway, I usually save this for the end, but this is a letter to the last page of my notebook. I usually close out with this, but dear beloved, I hope you found these lines palatable, essential to your very being, feeling like the very reason you exist was bring order to this word scramble. They were arranged on this rose-colored papyrus with careful consideration. I know presentation is everything to you. I've tried to serve these stanzas with conviction, lest I be convicted for not shoving oppressors overboard from their errant vessels to drown in my streams of consciousness. I pray that my words entice you, edible enough to ingest into your system, and fill you with the sustenance you need to run the race you were never meant to enter. Should my poeting displease you, and you find yourself choking on my flawed exclamations, please allow me to apply the Heimlich by crossing out the offending terms. Last, but not least, beloved, I wanted to express my thanks. You've weathered the storms of my rants, soapbox chants, lovelorn librettos, and acts of contrition. Though I must warn you, the pages contained in this next volume must be just as strong to withstand the fallout from this erupting volcano rose. Poem. Okay, I see this is what I'm doing today. You know how you're gonna feature in an open mic and you have all your poems picked out for your set, and then at the ninth hour you decide, no, I don't want to do that one anymore. I'm gonna do this one. So that's what I'm doing right now. We're flip-flopping. But this piece is I'm So Sorry was I dedicated it to Black men everywhere. Black men, I'm so sorry. Sorry that oftentimes you have to set aside your crowns, descend from your thrones, and take to the streets, time and time again, having to present your case to the world that you do indeed have the right to breathe. Black men professionals, so sorry that you are not only criminalized by the system, but in school, on the job, in the media, in a suit and tie, in uniform, by some of us who don't know better, knowing that the real thugs are in government. Oh, are they ever about to be in government? Okay, moving on. Black warriors who wear and once wore the uniform. I'm sorry that you disproportionately face non-judicial punishment, disrespected because this kind of camouflage doesn't provide cover and concealment from their irrational envy. Sometimes treated better overseas than in your own country, yet choose to soldier on and honor your oath and go to war on behalf of a nation that still doesn't love you. Black kings, so disgusted at how your bodies are simultaneously reviled and fetishized, how they want to go back and tell their friends about that one time they hung out on the other side of the tracks. Oh, and that it's true. That seems to be the only part of you they value, but never will they take you home to meet mom. On the other end of the spectrum, I'm sorry to hear how their lies repeatedly place you in harm's path and or flat out get you killed. I am so sorry, Dick Rowland, Emmett Till, Central Park exonerated 5, Botham Jean, Christian Cooper, and countless other unnamed royals, particularly those who never received justice and had to die to achieve peace. To the Black man activist, forgive me for not speaking up for you enough. I ask forgiveness for not showing up, suited up, and not having my head in the game. That my not woke white colleagues and friends have relegated you to a hashtag to check the block of feel good, but at the end of the day, still don't get it. That you have to take up arms, don your armor, and ready yourselves for battle that is simply to stay alive. Counting the hours, minutes, and seconds to tomorrow. Afraid to exhale because in doing so, you still won't be able to expel the demons that declared holy war on your psyche. Unjustly saddled with the unenviable mission of contesting terrorists on lands on which you were forced to settle while the world misunderstands you by choice. To the Black man's soul, I'm speaking to your essence, your core, when I say, you are reflections of the true and living God here on earth, a power no mere mortal can comprehend. I'm speaking from my heart when I tell you, you are a pillar of excellence, a beacon of distinction, a force that no other man can put asunder. If you learn of nothing else today, please know this. I love you. Poem. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna take a swig. It's just water. Just what? Yeah, I'll save the whiskey for later this evening.
Okay, well, while you're taking a swig, I gotta tell you, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, Poet Rose Gold, you're so good. God damn it, you're so good.
Jane, that is an honor coming from you, and I'm so glad you can make it today. So thank you. Oh, shucks. Well, since we talked about the fellas, let's talk about the women. This is how to be reminded you're a woman in 30 lines or less. And again, 30 is a random number. I could have really kept going. That alone could have taken up the whole book. So here we go. How to be reminded you're a woman in 30 lines or less. Number 1, smile. It can't be that bad. 2, how come you're not married? What's wrong with you? Number 3, he likes you, therefore believes you're obligated to like him back. Number 4, well, you don't, so suddenly you got an attitude. Number 5, your confidence and assertiveness are mislabeled as aggressive or rude, whereas if you had a dangling participle, you'd be regarded as, wait, what's this? Confident and assertive. Number 6, you arrive at a new duty station and immediately feel like someone sounded the fresh meat / new booty alarm. Number 7, oh, you ain't got no band, you must be gay. Number 8, your name is. Number 9, calm down. Number 10, males can make songs all day about bees and hoes and videos featuring scantily clad females around them while sliding credit cards up and down a woman's crack. But someone does a song about their own bodily autonomy and in praise of the power of their pussy, they're the devil incarnate. Number 11, a Starbucks barista sees your blue ID card and assumes your husband is the service member, not you. Number 12, when 2 old white men for some reason are irrationally impressed that you can combat park, i.e. back into a parking space. Side note, I can parallel park too. Number 13, you couldn't possibly be a veteran. Number 14, you're too pretty to be in the Army. Number 15, you shouldn't dress like that. It will distract the men. Number 16, well, what was she wearing? Number 17, and how much did she have to drink? Number 18, society measures your value based on whose arm you're hanging off of and how many children you bore him, or not. Number 19, you shouldn't walk like that. You'll entice the men. Number 20, you're told in not so many words that you're better seen and not heard. Number 21, someone said respectability equals silence. Me grabs microphone. Number 22, women shouldn't be pastors. Number 23, why, he couldn't have done that to you. He's a model citizen. Number 24, laws are made to destroy any and all control you have over your own body. Oh, if that's not foreshadowing, my God. Buckle your seatbelts, people. It hasn't. Number 25, your intelligence is viewed as being uppity. Well, I'll be uppity all damn day long. 26, your abilities, skill sets, and aforementioned intelligence are called into question. Number 27, you were told by a peer in another unit that they would not take orders from a woman should one be put in charge of him. And no, he was not combat arms. Yeah, he probably didn't vote for Kamala either. Number 28, objectification / catcalling / harassment / assault are the order of the day and should be accepted as a rite of passage / way of life. Number 29, another moron slides into your DMs. Block. Number 30, you can't fill in the blank. You're a woman. Poem. Where is that?
All damn day.
I am having that poem put on my tombstone. That is my favorite poem in the entire world.
Oh, thank
got
you.
that right. You got that right.
Okay. I'm gonna spit this one since I decided to go back to my natural after having my hair braided over the past 3 years. I just needed to set my hair free. This is called Samson hair. Our coils are rooted in the earth. Our faces framed by beautiful tendrils that sway to the refrain of a summer breeze. Gravity-defying curls reaching upward to kiss the sky that stretches to forever. The exclamation point to our manifestations of protest, a la Angela and Kathleen, reflects the rays of the sun like Queen Bee, takes up space like the boss, not Springsteen, but Diana Supreme. Whether spiraled, plaited up, or locked, every strand is a statement, a declarative, I am beautiful, a warning, girl, hold my earrings. The sign that screams, I matter. The fan that waves, hallelujah. The coif that flexes its Samson muscles of strength. My root, my crown, my Samson hair. Poem. I'm gonna deviate a little bit. This is something that's been weighing on my spirit, just been swirling around in my head ever since the election. And I wrote this exactly a week after. And some of you may have seen it. I posted it on social media and I voiced it, which is something I rarely do. But since it's like, What Color Is Your Noise was written to my fellow griots, and Dear Poets is also written to my fellow griots, because when I wrote What Color Is Your Noise back in 21, some people were exhaling because we had just overcome 4 years of God knows what, because going into that administration, we had no idea what we were dealing with, what was going to take place. But now we do. So I wrote Dear Poets from that vantage point, to not lose hope, to not just let yourself just don't let the earth swallow you whole. We're still here and we have work to do, and it is about to get really ugly. Things are about to get really ugly. And I talked to Miss Stacy about this maybe a week or two ago in conversation, I don't remember. But all these artists and musicians and things like that, these rappers, I won't even call them rappers nowadays. I don't know what the hell they are. But if they decide to go that route and go to attack the arts, we are going to be the first ones they come after. We're going to be the ones they come after first. So I just wrote this just in homage to my fellow griots, my fellow poets, my fellow spoken word artists, my fellow slam poets. That just we have a lot of work ahead of us, and just let all the emotions come out of you. Just go, let it run its course. Let you run your own pace, but then don't put your pen down and leave it there. Don't close your mouth. Don't stay silent. There's a difference between quiet and silent. And what they want to do is silence us. So, dear poets, About this time a week ago, you sensed a shift in the atmosphere, as if someone pushed you into the pit. And even now, as I scribe this, you're still falling, forgetting to hit the brakes, or perhaps not having the desire to. When meeting the devil meeting the devil you don't know is less traumatic than facing the devil you do. Before you grab your passports out the safe, those of us who have one, ask yourself this: you don't think these demons are going to follow you? Griots don't run from a fight, but your enemies shall still keep giving chase. If you keep averting your eyes and ignore them, they, in fact, will not go away. This nation is a perpetual car crash, and while it's bad, you, for whatever reason, can't bring yourself to turn away. Right now, you're probably still trying to process. Let all the emotions run their course: grieving, mourning, own the anger. Just don't implode. Rage responsibly. Yes, I agree. Let them feel the after effects of getting what they asked for. And I know what you're thinking. We shouldn't have to pay for their bad decisions and don't care to go down with the ship. Me either. We cover all four corners of the globe, Tesoro. There is strength in numbers. Where two or three are gathered together in poetry, there is truth in the midst. Let it run through you. Stand in it, speak it, and restore sanity for the sake of the sane. They are not built to endure for the duration. They've never come out on the other end of survival mode. This for us is a marathon pace, while they run amok. It is okay to be afraid. It's not okay to be passive. Don't tiptoe around the circumstances. Move with Timberland energy. When we speak, the world listens. Spill the ink and charge your flamethrower. Poem. Okay, back to this thing. I think I'm gonna do two more pieces. Okay, this one is called Cotton's Club. What prompts you to outstretch your arms to the sky, palms pressed against the window pane, an outsider looking into a Happy Days, Norman Rockwell, Friends type homestead and think, that's what I want? That you raise your arms in imagined victory whenever they threw you a bone, or end up going home to sulk in your kennel whenever your chance at adoption was thwarted by another who had the presence of mind to shuck when you mistakenly jived. The Yassa boss wasn't enthusiastic enough, I guess. What did you think you would get from them that you couldn't get from us? Or was it that you wanted to get away from us? You wanted to be the only one because to look at us every day is looking into a mirror and you can't stand it. But funny, you can't see all the time and energy they're spending trying to erase us. So again, what is it you seek from them that you seem to believe only they can give? Malcolm X posed the question, who taught you how to hate yourself? How many times do you have to run away from home thinking the grass is greener, only to be publicly run out on a rail when they realize that you weren't going to mow it? Yet just moments ago, they were gushing over how well-behaved, read, scripted you were. As long as they kept your ego fed and watered, yeah, you were one of the good ones. Too bad you were jolted back into reality when you caught your reflection in the rear view after the red and blue stopped you. Did you know misogyny is a byproduct of the patriarchy you so badly want to be a part of? I suppose only God and therapists would know why you have such enmity towards those who look like the beings who birthed you. Maybe you think their crop is made of gold. What does it matter? You're not capable of loving them either. What do you think would be your reward for turning us in? How many pieces of silver did they promise you to replace real leaders with pliant puppets like you? You do not have to join us when we do, and we will reach the mountaintop, which will not be disfigured with the faces of the overseers you worship, as most of their mugshots are plastered all over that long money you wish you had. I still wish you well, though, even while knowing the same sentiment is not bestowed on us. I say, did you hear what I said? No? Well, I know you focused your Stockholm syndrome on your hero who seems to be disturbed over my verbs. What's wrong, boss, you ask? We sick? Well, yeah. Poem. Okay, I'm just going to end with this. Poeting takes a little bit out of you, right? You gotta, yeah. I'm gonna take a bubble bath later on. So this is fact. This is called Poetry is My Therapy, and that's fact. And I hope it's been therapeutic for some people, for those who have listened to my voice or read my words, that it's moved you in some kind of way. Poetry is my therapy and my ministry. You will find me in the pews and the pulpit, confronted by a congregation of souls that crave audience. I try to hear him over the hand clap emojis and the hearts bursting in air, the contents of which return void, save for them hemorrhaging all over the virtual microphone. What is their wish today? To be scorched by the verbs of this burning bush, or remain parched, waiting for Super Saver Scribe to turn water into wine? The people genuflect on arthritic knees while waiting to receive his body and blood freely given unto me for my transgressions that are laid bare before them in revealing verse. Then stand back and observe the glory revealed in flesh, while spirit demands a refill and a warm heart in which to be housed, because featureless winters are cold when no one is showered in accolades. You can always hear the rainfall, but the snow is silent. I sit with head bowed, crooked neck, wondering if I will finally receive deliverance through golden-throated, self-proclaimed, sent by God crooners, verbally sparring with their demons. Tongues are the weapon of this spiritual warfare played out by the body of voyeurs, watching the narrated gyrations to the point of near climax. Should we be ashamed or proud? That word may not have been for me, but I receive it, voicing my approval with incomprehensible utterances crowned by a flickering flame. What of those moments when the mental constipation holds you captive and the words refuse to reveal themselves? To whom do you pray? Where do you go for your release? When the contents of the collection plate are sparse, there's nothing noisier than being quiet out loud. But if you listen closely enough, you can hear the glory within. Will you not still love me in my silence? I am the poet RoseGold. Rage responsibly. Thank you.
Let's go, y'all. Unmute your mics. Give it up for the poet RoseGold.
Oh,
That's the way to do it, Shug. That is just the way to do it.
Whew. Bubble bath,
you,
right? That
RoseGold.
self-care. Go get that bubble bath, RoseGold. Woo! And that whiskey. Whiskey in the tub. Let's write that poem. We're gonna need it for the next 4 years for sure. So real quick, where can people find you, follow you, all of that good stuff?
I am on Instagram at the poet RoseGold. No periods, no hyphens, no dashes, no underscores. Just the poet RoseGold on Instagram, and same thing on Facebook.
Awesome. So we're going to move into a little Q&A. So for those who are in the room who are watching, if you have a question for Rose Gold, you are welcome to raise your hand or send it to me and I will ask her, or you may ask her. Remember that she may decline to answer anything. She is not under any obligation to answer anything and may say no. And so just have that expectation, please, that you may not get your question answered. But there are things that I always ask during book club because I think they're really interesting and it's so diverse, the answers that come through. So the first thing I will, okay, so Jane asks, when is your when is your next book coming out?
I don't have an ETA on that. I'm actually still working on it.
Well, we need it. These next 4 years going to be a bitch. We need the next book, girl.
Well, we're going to be doing like a women's like a revolutionary anthology for women forthcoming as well, James. So it'll be exciting.
Good, because I'm not your honey baby and I'm not your little bitch.
Well, right, exactly. And when Stacy and the other Tesoro women did that group piece at the summit last year, was amazing. And so I think a lot of what we want to put together is now all encompassing, right? So not just reproductive rights, but the rights to be women, the rights to serve in the armed forces, the rights to be a part of the Congress, the Senate, part of the government, if you will, even to be part of the legislation making process, which seems to be depreciating greatly for women. And all of the other factors, LGBTQ issues are right around the corner. They're on the table as well. So there's that plus, well, there's so many. So doing some sort of book that is a revolutionary for women, is definitely going to be out this presidency. For sure. So good question, Jane. All right, so just keep your ears to the ground. I'm sure she'll make announcements when she's ready. All right.
Well, can I something to add to that real quick is again, this is something I mentioned to Miss Stacy very recently, that between for the past month, over the past month, I've written about 10 or 11 pieces. And I know that some of them are, I do want some of them to go into my next book. Although I don't write to publish, just to be clear, I don't write to publish, but some of these really need to go into the next book. And then, if you've written like hundreds and poems I done clearly forgot about, like one I wrote a few years back called Yo, and I want that to go into my next book. Because again, the way I write some of these pieces is talking about some things, certain incidents that happened. So when people read it, it's like, oh, what is she referring to? Oh, that's it. So it's kind of a reference point. But yeah, it's in the works. ETA, I have no idea. Maybe 2025, who knows? Maybe 2020. I don't know. I can't really give an answer just yet.
And one of the things that we're going to be branching into is the film industry. So I'm going to be working at the Santa Fe Film Festival and putting something together in the poetry world in 2025. So putting our poems to not just audio, but to video for different types of film festivals and whatnot. So there's a lot of things that are coming out because the books are wonderful, but we also need to start venturing into all these other things that are coming across people's lives. Video, audios, those are really connecting with masses, and things are going very viral. So we're going to be going into that sector. And so it would be so amazing. Our goal is always to work a documentary series with Netflix that we're going to be working on next year. So we're trying really hard to begin to get the cogs in the system to start rotating the way that we need with the funding that we're requesting to be able to make these projects come to life. And certainly, Jane, we should be doing a Tesoro, film would be an amazing opportunity for us women to showcase those voices. And RoseGold would be right up there. I mean, your poems are so incredible. What is so I usually ask three things. The first one is, what was the most challenging thing about getting this book from your mind or your desktop to an actual physical book?
Aside from finding an actual publisher.
No, that can be an answer. That's part of the answer, right? It happens.
I'd always known I wanted it to happen, clearly, but when the possibility presented itself, it actually scared me a little bit. Said, okay, you've been spitting here and there. People have heard of you, especially during the pandemic when everyone went viral. So your work has kind of expanded that way, but now you're putting into a book. And truthfully, for a brief moment, that actually scared me. That now, wow, it was equal parts. Phew, finally, this is finally coming to fruition. I'm finally going to get a book. It's finally going to come to pass too. Wait a minute. Do I want my name put out there like that? It's already out there. It's just something people can hold on to, something tangible. So you were meant to do this. Just go for it. So that was, believe it or not, the biggest challenge.
And you're so courageous to be so honest about that, because everyone is scared before they publish their book. But I hope it affirms those who are watching that it's okay to be afraid. It's not for the faint of heart to get a book out. The other question I have is, like, what was your favorite thing of the whole process of getting your book? What was your absolute favorite thing?
Just actually seeing it in that format, just knowing that everything that came from here is finally just captured in just one piece. So, and that was probably the best thing.
I love it. I remember opening it too, and I'm like, oh my God, it's here! I get so excited whenever the books come in, probably just as much as the authors, getting to know you along the way, and then seeing it.
And the unboxing.
It was amazing, right? It's so thrilling and exciting and terrifying all at the same time. Yeah, it's awesome. And then I always ask the book club authors, what is your advice or your takeaways or anything that you would offer as wisdom for those who are coming next?
As far as being, the next wave of authors, published authors?
The next wave of authors or poets or spoken word artists, or anyone who is looking to do what you've done and go where you've been. Anyone, right? Because you didn't start off in spoken word, you didn't start off in poetry, you didn't start off being published, right? Working all the way through to this point. So any advice you have for someone who's thinking, I would love to have a book, or hey, I would love to try poetry, or I would love to get on stage and read to a bunch of strangers, and now I see it's being done by all of these incredible humans, but maybe they are not sure, like, how do I get over this, or how do I move through this, or how do I overcome this? What would be some of your wisdom that you might offer?
Well, to the newbies, as far as those who are starting, because you have to remember, a lot of our fellow poets never picked up a pen or wrote anything down before in their lives until the pandemic. So if you're feeling something, go with it. Pick up your pen, write it down. You're not writing for perfection, you're writing for your truth. There's no such thing as perfection here on this earth. There's no such thing. Don't write to perfection, write to your truth. I'm quiet by nature, always have been, still am. Although if you have something to say, I mean, you have something of substance, I could talk to you all day. That being said, when it comes to poetry, I have a big ass mouth. And I don't regret that. And it's only going to get bigger. So that is the one area where I do speak. I was meant to speak. Full disclosure, full transparency, even well into adulthood, every once in a blue moon, this is how the devil is a liar. Once in a blue moon, I don't want to call it a nightmare, because it doesn't really scare me, but it does kind of scare me. I will have a weird dream to where I'm trying to open my mouth to say something and I can't. There's sound coming out, but my mouth cannot open. And I've had that dream, that recurring dream, many a time throughout the years. And it's gotten, well, at least it tried to. It tried to escalate as I started venturing into the spoken word journey. And that's how I know if the enemy doesn't want me opening my mouth, that means I'm supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So talk, go to that open mic, be afraid, but do it anyway. Pick up your pen, write something. You know, if it's not coming to you, fine, put it away like I do. If it's not coming to me, put it away. Wait till another time, pick it up again, and just write. Just write. Just write. Speak. Write. Speak. Write. Or if you don't want to be, spoken word, just write.
It's true, right? A lot of times people who spoken word and page poetry are very different and not all the time do they both want to do the same thing. But it all starts with putting your truth out there, whether you're speaking it or writing it or both. Put your truth out there, speak your mind, don't let anyone silence you. I think those are just amazing tips. And surround yourself with a community like this where people are going to push you up instead of knock you back down.
Most definitely. And another thing, since I said I wanted to, since music is really my first love, poetry is a very, 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 very close second. One thing I've always wanted to do is work in tandem with an artist, a recording artist. And you know how some songs, you have somebody doing like a poetic interlude, either they'll start off the album or they'll be like, they'll spit something in between songs or something like that. Or one of my favorite artists, his name is Eric Roberson. And if you know who Omari Hardwick is, Ghost, Lord, he's fine. Anyway, he's also a poet. Matter of fact, he's one of the poets nominated for a Grammy right about now. I'm not sure how I feel about poetry as a Grammy category. At first I was excited, but now I'm not too sure. That's a whole nother event, whole nother conversation. And Eric Roberson has this one song called Love's Withdrawal. And Omari, he just starts spitting from like mid length of the song all the way to the end of the song. And I'm like, I could do that. I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
I could do that. Somebody call me. I don't know. Somebody call me.
Well, and if you need studio time, you can always come down here and record. Rebecca and Nick has a whole recording studio, so we could totally get that done. And yeah, so you never know. Come see Stacy. Come see me. Hang out. We can make stuff happen. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions for the poet RoseGold as we are winding down the author talk today? I'll let you send in the chat or raise your hand or just unmute yourself. I know everyone who's in the room, so I'm not worried about anyone hacking the show. Yes, Jane.
I have a question for RoseGold. How do you get to be such a badass?
She's just born that way. She was.
Damn right. Damn, girl. Shit, everything that comes out your mouth is fire.
Oh, Jane, I wish you could have seen her at the summit. Like, I love this woman so much. She's fire.
It's life. It's life. Oh, it's life. The ancestors have definitely blessed me.
We got to go back up to New York City so that we can go do a takeover with Jane. That would be so awesome.
That'll be the bomb.
Yes,
I want to go back to Harlem so bad and do a show in Harlem. Like, I would love to go back to New York City. Well, let's get that grant. Let's fly everyone out. Let's go. Like, that's it, right? That's it. And we just make moves.
Cabins, I'm working on that very thing right now.
Right, exactly.
Get ready.
We have 15 to 20 different projects we're going to go over in our board meeting that are going to be future projects. So there's a lot of amazing. I can't wait. So I'm super, super stoked. Yeah, Stacy, it'd be so awesome. You could take your emotional support poet with you. Yes. All right. If you have not purchased your copy of Poetry is a Love Language, but first, let me tell you something by the one and only poet RoseGold. Please do so. Go to the website, redorgreenbooks.com, or you can go to RoseGold's website. Only in the month of November is the $5 coupon available. So you got to get it this month if you want for the discount. Otherwise, like, share, subscribe, and follow everywhere. Poet RoseGold. I'll let her plug everything again as we finalize. December, we have Diosa X, who is another wonderful Tesoro woman that we're going to be doing the author talk for. And her book is hilarious. It's full color. It is funny and sassy, and it is the best holiday gift for someone who is looking for some sort of book of parody songs for the holidays. Is just going to crack you up. So don't forget to come back for the author talk in December. And with that, I will let Poet RoseGold do a final plug of where you can find her, follow her, and all the great stuff.
You could follow me on Instagram at the Poet RoseGold, and also on Facebook. Or if you, like Marissa said, if you still haven't bought my book, or if you want to buy it again for maybe as a gift for someone, like one of my sister soldiers just did. She bought 8 more copies to give out for Christmas. You could also, in addition to going to redorgreenbooks.com, you could also hit me up, shoot me a DM, send me a text if you want to buy it, and I'll hook you up.
I love that. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. One more time, unmute your mics. Give it up for the one and only, the poet RoseGold.
RoseGold, RoseGold, badass RoseGold.
Always right on time, sis. Right on time.
All right, all you
I
beautiful
needed
poets.
this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you all for
Always.
coming and supporting. And Stacy, I'm right here where you left me. So if ever you need to come over, you just come over. I'll cheer you up too. Not really. I will annoy her. But anyways, I love you all so very much. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you back here in December. Remember, find us at TesoroFiresingers.com. That is the website. Check us out. Everything that we got going on that website as well. Peace and blessings. Thank you all so very much. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.